Above the law, a trauma-informed appreciative approach to examining mayoral control of New York City public schools. Cycle 2 of Resonant Transformation, Facilitating, focuses on the dream stage of appreciative inquiry, where I address what the individual and collective resonance is calling me to. I now present my individual and collective dream regarding the governance structure of New York City public schools. The individual resonance. The individual side of my resonance calls for a dream in which someone will hold the supervisory regime accountable for their wrongdoing and clear the defamation and fraudulent claims on my employment verification. And two, an independent agency launches an investigation into the hiring practices of the supervisory regime and the payroll practices of the Office of Contracts and Services. If proponents of mayoral control claim this governance structure increases accountability, then someone should hold the supervisory regime accountable for their corruption and retaliation. The collective resonance. The NYSCD report's results clarified that most organizational stakeholders seek great schools, specifically a democratic form of governance that considers the best interests of staff and learners, establishes cordial relationships, trust, and mutual understandings, and enables transparency in management, governance, and collective decision-making. However, based on prior knowledge, experience, and evidence, the hierarchical system of mayoral control can lead to an abuse of power via violations of city, state, and federal laws, and consequently, unethical and inhumane consequences for persons who speak out against such organized malfeasance. Mayoral control tends to impose a culture of the haves and the have-nots, highlighting that governance under mayoral control maintains the ability to produce positive results for some students. However, the inherent bias of some mayoral control leaders to have high expectations for only some students and staff means that a group of stakeholders will always remain impacted by corrupt and immoral decision-making practices. Corruption and psychological abuse go hand in hand because how else would offenders silence the voice of their accusers? Leaders who make decisions like the supervisory regime remain incapable of fostering the climates required for great schools. What they create instead are trauma factories where stakeholders remain triggered and filled with grief and agony, questioning their sense of self and purpose as they are treated as invaluable pawns to the power structure. This is the third project that I have created based on my experiences with the supervisory regime, and it is evidence of how deeply their decisions impact the mental health and well-being of others. To add fuel to the fire, those psychological savages assume that I could not explain their malfeasance to an audience because they take advantage of ambiguity. This action is problematic not only because of the manipulation involved, but also because it proves that some DOE leaders do not believe in their own ability to educate stakeholders about policy and practice. If mayoral leaders continue to make decisions that cause more problems than they solve, these behaviors will eventually destroy our school system and, thus, our city unless structural changes occur. Therefore, based on the three governance structures under consideration for mayoral control: weak, the mayor plays an informal role; moderate, this form of governance under mayoral control is designed to maintain a balance of power, with checks and balances on the mayor's power and the mayor's ability to appoint some school board members, not the majority; and strong, the mayor has high appointment power and fiscal control. The collective resonance calls me to advocate for a dream of a low-moderate level of mayoral control with oversight from the New York City Council and New York State Education Department for the governance of New York City public schools. Up next, I will execute Cycle 3, Stage 4 of the Appreciative Informed Resonant Transformation by disclosing my idea of an example of a design best related to the phenomena under study. See you there.